Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, Matt's Rule Edition. I'm your host, Honke. I'm with Mac. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. We're coming off 2 straight wins, so that's always a great start.
500.
500?
Yeah. Took us a while. Took us a long while. Had to go through a lot of coaches to get to 500. So, hey, I just want to jump out of the gate and apologize for any dogs who might have set off with that doorbell sound. I apologize. Some things are easily triggered, I guess.
Yeah, we got a comment in the last show that the doorbell. I never thought about this. Honestly, it was something that never even was on my imagination that was something that could be an issue. And I still would like that. Now that he said that, I would actually like to maybe mute that, but that will take a little time
I
for me
just
to get to
assume
it.
people listen in their car or on the headphones. That would. But cool. If you're pumping it through your radio, pump it through your radio.
Evening, Anthony Hayek. All right, man. Yeah, get the messages in already.
Tom?
We want to be very interactive. That's one thing about Matt's Rule. We want to be very interactive with everyone that's part of this. So be part of the conversation. We'll put up your comments and we'll kind of go from there. But before we get started, we do want to say like, subscribe, leave a comment below. If this is the kind of content you want, it helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
To smash that like button and subscribe. Get notifications of future shows, all that good stuff.
Says,
Yeah, same stuff that everyone says, all right?
New to your animals.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's Michigan week, boys. Let's go. Joe Lang. Absolutely. It is Michigan week, Matt. Number 2 team in the country is coming in here, and we stand absolutely no chance. I don't even know why we're showing up.
Yeah, I mean, this is why games don't need to be played.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's already played on paper. It's over.
It's 100%. It's just how much are we going to bleed? It's really anybody's question.
If the game was played on social media, that's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
There's a chance. I mean, there's a chance when a team can be a top 5 or top 10 rushing offense and a top 1 rushing defense.
That sounds
playing
good.
At home. I think that's always a good start.
Yeah.
And we'll see what this is the game that we need to play. I said it a week ago before La Tech. I was like, we've got to beat La Tech, get that out of the way. But once you get to this week, we need to play a team like Michigan.
Yeah. And for sure, Michigan's the best team, obviously, that we're going to play.
Yeah.
But it's not like we were playing all scrubs beforehand. I know we lost to 2 of the better teams, but we've seen some hard running offenses and some wide open offenses.
Yeah.
We've got a chance to tackle all of them, and the defense has risen to the occasion and all that. So I expect that stuff to travel to this game too. I mean, I really do. I haven't seen any real letdown on the defense so far, but unfortunately, there's more than just one side of the ball there to play. So
yeah, well, that defense has stacked 4 straight games together now. In terms of the rushing defense, we're number 1 in the country in rush defense. And we've stacked 4 games in a row where we've held a team under 60 yards.
That's crazy.
We're averaging, I think it's like 46.25 yards a game rushing. That's amazing. Yeah. That's a great place to start. And I realize, I understand as I'm saying this, and some people are going to be rolling their eyes watching it, that this is a different beast playing Michigan versus the other teams that we played. But it's still an important thing. It's progress that we did what we did to those 4 teams. Yeah. We're coming off a year where we lost to Georgia Southern last year, where they came in and put up 40-some points on us.
That was bad. It was bad.
And look, there's areas that have to be improved. There's no doubt about that. Yep. But we're going to touch on some plays here. We'll do a little bit of film study stuff. We're also going to start off with some tweets of the week, a little similar to Redcast style, but these are a little different tweets, a little more. Sometimes, in Redcast, we get into bigger conversations. Some of these are just positive, fun ones. So actually, I want to start with this one. This is from Adam Carricker. And he goes, we obviously need to keep getting better. But if you're someone like me who wants Nebraska to play physical football again, running the ball, stopping the run, then we're currently the 6th best rushing offense in the country, 2nd best in rush defense in the country. And that depends on who you even look at. NCAA.com has us number 1 rushing defense because number 1 is James Madison, and they played like an FCS team. So when you remove that, when it's all FBS, we're number 1.
Nice.
And that number 6 rushing offense, more important, we're the number 1 rushing offense right now in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are things that, Mac, I mean, you can't build off that. That's not something to give you a little bit of hope, a glimmer of hope coming in this weekend.
When you do say it that way, it's like, well, there's got to be some good things going on. If if we're leading in anything other than turnovers, and like, ha ha ha, good joke, but like, but reasons to be excited if you can curb those turnovers down. We have shown some ability to run the ball. We've totally, I kind of think, converted how this offense is going to look into this year. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I love the physicality. I love how we're running. I love how our wide receivers are blocking. I love all that stuff. So we just need to get a little tighter in the pass games, a little tighter on that.
Yeah. Anthony Hayek says, if we've learned anything from the last several off seasons, I do actually wish the games were played on social media.
Yeah.
There is something about that. We're the off-season champs.
We would dominate those.
Dorothy Sorensen Ruff says, listening from Broomfield, Colorado. Nice. Thank you very much, Dorothy. Boy, rough weekend for Colorado fans, both in pros and in college there. If you're a Buffalo fan.
A lot of points against.
Yeah, it was really rough, wasn't it, Mac, to see Colorado struggle.
Broke my heart.
Broke your heart to see.
It was like those damn kids. I felt so bad for them out there. Their diamond encrusted watches, just
walking all over the Oregon O and kicking it up with their cleats.
No,
and then the Broncos coming back afterwards. Eeks. That was the rough weekend out there.
You never see that score in the pros.
No, that is odd. The other tweet of the week here. This one kind of warms my heart. This is Elizabeth Harburg. So Heinrich's mom. Yes. And she at Jeff Sims on this and goes, Jeff Sims is an absolute class act and leader. And it was a video that the Nebraska BTN account posted of him giving Harburg a hug before the game. And this is something, again, it gets lost in all the social media chatter and everything. These guys are teammates. These guys are, they're rooting for each other. They want their shot too.
Sure.
But I love seeing that kind of teamwork, that kind of sideline behavior. That they've got each other's back. Harburg went down for a play with his helmet off, and Sims has to come on the field. I mean, we've said this all along. We're going to need both of these guys. To me, it's not an argument or some kind of big controversy at quarterback. We're going to need these two guys, especially the way that we're running.
Yeah, Sims' sideline demeanor has been excellent. Every time they show the camera on him, he's involved in what's going on, the play calling, talking to Heinrich. I think Heinrich. And then,
I was having a hard time just saying Harburg the other week. Yeah. I just kept screwing that up.
Jeff's really kind of living up to that single digit in terms of the leadership and just being a good teammate over there. So I'm happy to see that. And it's a matter of when that he gets back out on the field, regardless of like who starts what. He's going to play. Purdy's already played in 2 games. So Sims is definitely going to get in there. Yeah,
Patrick says we need more than the quarterback for most of our rushing yards. Now, in this last week, Grant stepped up to there. He had a bell cow's worth of yards there and rushing attempts. They were both right around 20. The thing about Harburg, and I don't want to sound like I'm being hypocritical from everything I've said all off season.
Okay.
The idea that our quarterback is getting upper teens to around 20 carries a game, is it disturbing? If they were getting 20 called runs a game.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening right now. You look at these options, and I've had so many responses to the film session that I did yesterday. So many responses that it's not a true option because we're not pitching the ball. I challenge you to go back and watch almost every option that they did, at least this last week. And I didn't go through every Northern Illinois one, but against La Tech, the only option I think he should have pitched was the one that he cut up and went for 72 yards.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
He's making the right reads, but that's
he might have had one more that if you would have pitched early, there was a chance the running back could have got the edge, but for the most part, that's how he played it, how La Tech made him play.
He's taking what the defense is giving, which is actually what the option's all about. And your first option is not to pitch.
Right.
Your first option, ideally, if that ball doesn't have to get thrown in the air, you've thrown out a lot of opportunities for fumbles and everything. Yep. But it's what the defense does. And I guarantee you, Michigan, if you go back to what we said a couple weeks ago before the Colorado game, we were like, be physical with Travis Hunter, be physical, hit him every play, and we did it. If I'm Michigan right now, I'd say be physical with Harburg.
Oh, yeah.
Hit him, force that ball into the air.
Yep.
Force him to make that pitch. So that's the next part of the option. But I'm not ready to sit here and go that Michigan's going to shut down this offense. If we're running effective option, if they go and hit Harburg, and he's a big guy, he's going to be able to take some hits. And if he can successfully pitch that ball off, Michigan's going to run into a numbers issue too. We're going to have some successful option runs against these guys, I think, if we can be clean with the ball.
Well, that's
catch the ball clean, good pitch. I mean, that's the tough part of this here. But look, do I just think Harburg's going to cut up and go clean like he's been doing the last 2 games? No, Michigan's not going to let him do that. But then is Michigan going to be in position to catch that guy who's catching the ball? And that's the thing. That's where it goes back to, do I love the fact that our quarterbacks have 20 carries a game? Probably not, no. But when he's reading the defense and he's cutting it up and making the right cuts, then that's how you're going to get your numbers up from that.
Right.
But it's not 20 called runs. There is a difference.
It'll be the next evolution of the offense if the pitch really starts becoming a part of the option game. And I think Heinrich has done a really good job of now putting on a film that he is a guy you can't just let run. You know, if he breaks into the second level, he might just go. And, you know, they're not always going to call holding on us for those plays.
No.
And if you look at our wide receivers, and I know there's plenty of comments about how we don't have separation. And again, that's really hard for me to judge. I guess I'm just taking everybody's word for it on that. It's just hard when you go on TV. It's just not always easy to say. But they're all blocking like sons of bitches. Like all the wide receivers are out there downfield driving guys
on passes. On even like when Fedoni catches that pass across the middle, when they bring six. They bring six. Our O-line gives Harburg enough time to get rid of the ball fast, which is on a blitz. And then downfield, every play downfield, there are blockers. It is insane. 30 yards down the field, run plays, pass plays. That's something to build off of. We're a good running offense right now, 6th in the country, number 1 in the Big Ten. We have receivers that are blocking. Like, I mean, this is old school blocking downfield, and we can stop the run pretty effectively. All I'm getting at is that's a good starting place. There are plenty of holes that we can pick in this team. I think special teams has been up and down kind of throughout the season, and we can't be missing, 30-yard field goals and all those things. You got to take points everywhere you're going to get them if you're going to have a chance against a team like Michigan. But come on, there is something to build a base off of. Yeah,
and you can kind of see it evolving before our eyes. I just think at the beginning of the year to what we're kind of growing into. First off, I like how the offense is evolving. Obviously, the passing game needs to take a step forward. But, I rewatched the game, and I was kind of counting. How many attempts did Harburg have? Around 17, 18?
Yeah, I think he might have had one of the guys, either him or Grant had 20, and the other one had like 19. So basically,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't think. I meant attempts passing.
Oh, attempts passing.
Regardless,
that up there.
His completion percentage wasn't great, but I counted 2 drops for sure that were in their hands. Washington had one, and then Emmett Johnson had one. Now, he got hit right afterwards, but he could have caught the ball. And then he threw the ball away at least 3 times. Just rolled out a little bit, didn't see anything, just chucked it downfield. And or threw it at somebody's feet.
Harburg was 8 of 17, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Should be noted, he's had
8 of 17.
He's thrown 4 touchdowns total, 0 interceptions.
So 8 of 17. I say there were 2 drops. That'd be 10 of 17. And I'm saying he threw it away. Basically, either because of coverage or maybe it was a lot of them were rollout plays that he just got rid of because it just didn't work. And that's fine. That does hurt your completion percentage, but it still manages the ball and allows us to at least give it a chance to flip the field and punt the ball and let the defense eat. And right now, that's how we're going to have to get by with that. But I don't think it's as simple as he's not very good at pass. I don't think he's a bad passer. Now, our downfield passing, I think that's a lot of that is a function of how much time he's getting.
The best passes that we've had up to this point throughout the season have come off of play action. Now, when I'm talking about option, think about what the option can do for play action, or even the old school option pass.
I love that.
We haven't seen that, I don't think, since maybe Zach Lee ran it against Kansas.
I bet it
in 2008.
This week.
Well, and it's something that could be out there. And look,
Ron Brown's on the team.
Well, we got what was it? Deion Pryor said, "Don't help Michigan with ideas," and I think he was talking about defensively hitting Harburg. Look, the defense, they're going to know. Michigan's going to know how to defend the option, and they're going to know what to do. You're going to want to hit Harburg. You just flat out are. But you know what? I'm not worried about Harburg. Number 1, getting hit in an option. He's a big dude. He'll handle that, and he's going to deliver a blow too. But if he's not running it, then the pitch goes out to Grant, and if Grant's running it, that's a dangerous runner outside too. There are times in some of the options that we were going through on the film where had the guy come up and taken Harburg, and Harburg makes the pitch, there had been nobody out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it had been a touchdown down the sideline too. That's the beauty of the option. So I'm really excited to see Michigan have to defend something that they're probably not going to have to defend again all season, and haven't had to up to this point.
Yeah, they haven't seen it, and we're going to hit them too.
Yeah, so right here, Forgery Weldman. Michigan's going to load the box and force Harburg to throw to beat them. Can he do it? I can't tell you, loading the box against the option is such a here. You know what? I almost even want to kind of go. I've got a video I'll show in a little bit. You don't run the option into the box.
Yeah.
Put 8 dudes in the middle of the field, and then you crack block, and you have tight ends on the outside, and contain them in the middle of the field, and run it outside.
Yeah, you just
and when
making
they
a
start
mess in the middle.
And when they start to spread it out, then you hit them up the gut.
Yeah,
we haven't seen a fullback dive this whole season yet. You don't think that's part of this? I mean, it was the first play of the spring game, right? There's going to be a part where you start to get into the actual scheming of they're spreading out. You hit them in the middle. They start clogging in the middle within the box. Option them outside.
Yep.
Absolutely. I want them in the box if you're going to run option. That's not where you run option. And you can condense the box.
Yeah.
Here,
what about throwing against if they're loading the box?
Well, if you're throwing against it, I'd be real careful about doing a bunch of pocket stuff. If they're all in the box and that's where they're pressuring from, you'd probably want to try to roll from that.
I think for the passing game to work, probably this week, the running game's really got to be online pretty early. To some extent, to get that play action working, we're gonna have to.
First and second downs, Matt Rule said today, we have to appreciate a 2 and 3 yard run.
We've said that all along.
We've said that all along to begin with. Yeah. And we definitely have to in this game. We have to get into 2nd and 7. Yeah. We have to get into 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 3. If we're in 3rd and long, that's going to be a problem no matter what.
And it's okay to grind this clock too. There's no reason to rush and try. We ain't going to score a bunch of points anyway. I don't care how well the offense is clicking. It just doesn't look like that. However, we've had some big plays running the ball. There's some big plays that have been left out on the field because of horseshit holding calls, in my opinion. But they're effort blocks. It's not like that crazy block behind the back or anything like that. And it's showing you that when some of our guys get loose, the quarterback and the running back right now, they can take it.
Well, let's go through a couple of plays here. And this one here, this is what we call. I'm going to put this on loop. So it's out of the shotgun, and we'll try to be as descriptive as we can for the people listening to the show tomorrow and the day after that. But we're out of the shotgun here, and we are pulling the right guard, and on the right side in the backfield is a tight end, Borkacher, and we're pulling both of those. So we're pulling the right guard and the right tight end. The right guard kicks out the defensive end. The right tight end curls around. He pulls around, and he leads up. And then we have a receiver on the left side who crack blocks and doesn't get a good crack block.
No.
Okay, and Grant kind of cuts off. But look at what this does to the defense. You're seeing guys pull from right to left, and you're seeing a receiver coming from left to right. There's basically a cross going on there. And then you've got the running back coming out behind that, and he has one guy here to miss. Makes that one guy miss. He goes on for about 8 yards.
Great job by Borkacher, too, curling in and stealing that. When he comes around, it's a really well-coordinated blocking, actually.
And look at Turner Corcoran, by the way. Left tackle, Turner Corcoran, who's been absolutely beat up in every PFF grade, and his pass blocking grade is what it is. 0.0. But you watch him in a play like this here, left tackle blocking down, and he takes that dude out of the way. We pull the guard, we kick out that D end, we crack block with the right receiver and the running back up the gut there, and we get 8 yards.
Grant does an excellent job too of pressing the line of scrimmage and making those looks like linebackers commit and getting the lineman in front of him. He really watch him run up there. These two guys coming down, he stakes inside enough that make them commit and allows Borkacher to get around on him, and then does an excellent job of making that guy miss. This is the kind of run where the ball comes out really towards the end. Like when he's doing that one-handed drill, he did a good job of keeping that high and tight while that was happening too. So I like a lot of what we see on this play.
The idea here, that block that Corcoran gives is really the whole start of that. I mean, he has to seal that off right there. And that's him at his strength.
Yep.
We've got another example here. We're going to show a Harburg scramble.
Yep.
And this is an example of Corcoran not at his strength. So left tackle, you watch him here. This is one-on-one blocking there. They do a little stunt.
Yeah,
he doesn't pick it up well.
Not at all. But look at Harburg here. Whoop, juke move, keeps his eyes downfield. Turner does come back and steal that guy out, so he's not a problem. But look at him. Look at Harburg keeping his eyes downfield. Flicks it out there, hits Billy in the face mask, and allows him to go to work. A really nice job of Billy making a couple guys miss here and just running hard. And even down there, they didn't really engage in any blocks, but look at the wide receivers looking to turn around and engage in somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Just the timing of that didn't work out so well, but Harburg, and getting pressure from right up the middle, that's tough to do. So for him to throw this little move on here, people talk about his mobility. He's more of a straight line guy, and he's definitely fast that way, but he's got a little shake to him. And I just like the way he kept his head down, looking downfield, and I found a guy to convert. This was a 3rd and 14.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that first drive, and this was an excellent play. And Billy Kemp just showing some grit and toughness and kind of no nonsense, get upfield right away. So there's plays. Harburg's impressing me a lot. Like his decision making back there, his cool, calm demeanor back there. He seems to have a presence to him. And I say all that I'm not denigrating or downgrading Sims at all. I'm just impressed by Harburg being able to do this at such a young point in his career, and it does seem like the team's responding to him to some extent. I mean, I know we're not playing the same level of talent the last 2 weeks that we've won, but I'm also not seeing the same kind of mistakes these last 2 weeks that were happening before. And the mistakes, make no mistake, the mistakes that we had those first 2 weeks had nothing to do with the teams we were playing for the most part. It was a lot of them were self-inflicted.
Sure.
So to me, that doesn't really hold as much water. You could say crowd noise and all this other stuff, but that's weak sauce to me for giving excuses.
Well, Dion asks here, can we trust Harbert to pitch well in the option?
Don't know.
Fair question. Well, we're going to find out, and we're going to find out in real time. 2 weeks ago, the question would be, could we trust Harburg to run the run the offense? We didn't know what that offense was going to look like. We didn't know it was going to be as option heavy as it has become. We ran some option against Colorado. We ran some option against Minnesota, but it's become a whole different ball game now these last 2 games. And the big thing is that when we talk about we don't have receivers to take the top off the defense, or we don't have this big play offense, well, we kind of, it's only a game and a half of stats on this, but the big plays have come out of that option.
Yeah,
that's where it's been. And I do think that there can be some passing game that can come off of this, some play action.
There can be.
So
for sure there can be. But you like that's why we were saying about embrace the option. The coaching staff needs to lean into it a little bit, and that means practicing it and repping it and really repping the pitch.
Oof.
Like really getting that down, because I suspect that Harburg could do that. He can throw the ball from a lot of different arm angles. I don't see him having a big problem pitching it.
But I mean, an option pitch to the left is different than to the right. Everyone, if you're left-handed or right-handed, what your strength is there. It just takes reps. And this is the thing. I've been calling for option football for 20 years, right?
Yep.
And I'm still not convinced. The reason we did a thing saying embrace the option, I think, is what we titled this show tonight. Mm-hmm. The reason that we did that is because I'm still not convinced that we're going to fully embrace it.
Yeah. No,
and you can't just kind of run.
Everybody wants to dabble in option. They just want it like a package.
You can't dabble in this. But here's the thing. I don't think this is the offense of the future for Nebraska. I don't think this is what Coach Rule wants to do and Coach Satterfield wants to do in year 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I think if Harburg's our quarterback for the next 3 years, I think by year 3, this isn't what we're doing with him. But right now, the team that we have at this moment, this is what's working.
Yeah.
And if this is what's working, we need to embrace it, not just as a screw the fan base for a second. It's not
the fan base.
It's not the option. Yeah, I mean, we'll embrace it. I hope we do.
Yeah.
But the coaches and the play calling and the practicing of this has to be. You've got to commit.
Yeah.
But I think if we commit to this with the team that we have, this is a problem to prepare for.
Oh yeah.
Michigan, make no bones about it. It's not that they're nervous about playing Nebraska or, talent-wise or anything like that. I'm sure Michigan is more than confident, and they have every reason to come in Nebraska and think they're going to win here. But they are, at the very least, they're concerned. They have to be concerned about preparing for this option. I mean, teams are concerned when they play Army and Navy and have to prepare for that, just because it's different, right?
Yeah.
They don't see it. We have good players.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an option that can be, this is more than just getting under center and doing some kind of wing tee. I mean, there's a lot of formations, under center, I formation, spread out. We had a shotgun with a pistol set that we were showing, speed options, a lead option. There's a lot to this.
A lot of motion before the play. It's a lot to prepare for. And the better we get at executing that stuff, the harder of a team we're going to be to deal with, especially when you got a complementary defense. So, we grind this out. We hit them with some option, but yeah, if it's 3rd and long and they're coming after us, eventually we're gonna have to learn how to beat that stuff.
Yep.
And I do think, listen, Fedoni's coming around. You know, he had 3 touchdowns in 3 games. That's pretty damn good. If I would have told somebody at the beginning of the season, hey, by game 4, Fedoni will have 3 touchdown receptions and be kind of a primary target.
3 straight games that the last time a tight end's done
that.
Like,
oh, that's great. He didn't get hurt. He's playing. He's contributing, and he is.
Yeah, the last time a tight end in Nebraska had 3 straight games with a touchdown each was Mike McNeil. So it's been a while.
Wow.
You know, put that in perspective. Dion says, I don't think the option is what the future will be here. I agree with that. He goes, Danny Kaelin isn't an option guy.
No.
Most of the quarterbacks you're going to be recruiting are not option guys.
Look, yeah.
So
I still think that's one of the limitations of an option offense is the ability to recruit. Because right now everybody's running spread and open offenses, and that stuff will get you to the pros. Being like a strict option quarterback, if you're going to go after like the top guys in the country, they're not going to want to do that.
Yeah.
I still think that's an issue.
What I like about the position that we're in right now is this is a year 1 build.
Yeah.
And if there's ever a time where you can do something that's just different, you know, that Matt Rule is afforded that ability right now to say, hey, this is what works right now with what we have. This gives us the best shot to do it and to win, to move the ball. And I've seen enough in the last 2 games. Really, I even saw it in the first 2 games. I was saying it after the Minnesota game. We ran 1 or 2 options. And we were getting 7-8 yards on it. Like it's not hard to see that we talk about needing to embrace a 2 and 3 yard carry. The option's giving us 5 or 6 or 7 yards, just about. Right. You know, even a bad one. No, you know, even a poorly run one seems to be giving us 5 or 6. So I think we can embrace that for sure.
I bet I could get behind that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Fongwei says, simply put, Rule is running what he thinks will work with the talent he has to get the W's. I 100% agree there.
Which is absolutely should be his job.
Yep. Like Patrick, we all knew that the rebuild was going to take some time, and it is taking some time. But yet the things that we talked about at the very beginning, Mac, that we are running the ball well, better than we have the last couple of years.
Yep.
We're defending the run definitely as well as we have. Our receivers, downfield blocking. You mentioned it with Fedoni. You know, hearing that we don't have breakaway, talent guys, or we're missing a big play. There's some truth there. We started getting some big plays last weekend, but right now, at the very least, I would say we have the ability to have a dynamic quarterback using his legs. Harbert, he's starting to show that. Grant, if he holds on to the football, didn't have any issues last week.
Done for 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Grant, we think we have a potential big time back with him. He almost had 1,000 yards last year.
Grant's a good back.
Grant. Kemp, after having 0 catches in week 1, is starting to get his legs under him. Had 5 catches last week. Had a touchdown pass 2 weeks ago and had a touchdown run last week. And Fedoni is starting to come out and break out as the tight end.
Already making some great catches.
So that's a tight end. That's 1 wide receiver. That's a running back, and that's a quarterback. By the way, also, for the people that are concerned about Harburg in the pass game, Kemp, I think, has got to love what Harburg's doing. He's getting the ball to Kemp.
Sure.
I mean, Kemp the last 2 weeks has had double-digit catches at least in the last 2 games total combined. After having 0. Yeah, because he's at 13 catches now in the season, but he had 0 catches that first week.
Yeah.
I think Fedoni probably likes having Harburg out there right now. He had 3 touchdown passes from him. And so you're seeing some development in 4 games.
Yep.
Again, this all falls back to playing Michigan this week. To me, we almost need to play it. We need to play a game. I said this last week, and we need to play a game like Michigan right now as a litmus test to see where are we at. Is this fool's gold, this rushing defense that we have? Does Michigan go out and run for 300 yards on us? Right. We'll find out, right? The question earlier, I think from was it Dion about what's going to happen when Harburg pitches it? We're going to find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. I mean,
maybe some magic.
I literally, I'm at that point where I want to see this, what I'm seeing with my eyes right now, physical team that's running the ball and stopping the run. I want to see how that team looks against a really good competition. And it's not going to get any better than this weekend. And I love it. That's at home.
I do too.
And, a 2:30 game, let's make Memorial Stadium as hard as we can possibly make it for the opponent.
As
fans, and see what happens.
And for the team too, like, those first couple drives, don't do anything stupid to take the crowd out of it. Just the longer we can keep the crowd into the game by good football, the better the chances we have of winning. Because that place is ready to just explode for something like this.
Anthony here, I would think the D likes having Harburg out there too, because it's giving them time to rest. Not having turnovers. We had 8 turnovers in the first 2 games. 8. and we only got 2. So we were -6 in turnover margin the first 2 games. The last 2 games, we've had 1 combined turnover, and we've taken 2. So we've been +1. Guess what? We're 0-2 to start.
Yep.
We're 0-2 and we have 8 turnovers. We're 2-0 where we have 1 turnover.
Yeah.
So this weekend, a lot's going to be on those turnovers. I can't control, or we can't control, are we going to get 5 yards on first down or how every option is going to go? But can you hold on to the ball? Can you not throw that bad pick? Can you play? Can we make the game ugly if that's what it needs?
We'll make it ugly and make it painful. Make sure you're hitting them.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's going to be a problem.
Mm-mm.
I think Michigan's going to be in for one of the more physical games, I hope, of their year. Like, I really believe our defense is hitting hard, and you can see our wide receivers down there blocking. I've seen some nasty out of the offensive line, especially when run blocking. And when Harvard carries the ball, he delivers a hit. So does Grant. Leaving Tripp's a good blocker. Like, I like Fedoni's out there hitting Borkacher. They're all out there. I've seen instances on every level and damn near every guy out there playing really hard. And, to beat a team like Michigan, you got to go in with no fear. And there is nothing to fear. Like, on this team, like, no one expects us to win. Nobody. So
what's the concern? Yeah, what is the fear right now that we might lose the game?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess go on social media, which Rule said today he wishes his players wouldn't, and I don't blame him. I would kind of tell him the same thing. But yeah, go out on social media. No one's giving you a chance. I don't know that I want to play the Dion card here of like being disrespected, because as a program, we've earned the disrespect that we're getting. We need to. Yeah. We actually have to earn respect. We need to win a game like this as a program. But you can almost play that card a little bit if you were Rule, if you wanted to, about like nobody thinks you're going to win. Yeah. This is you against the blah, 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 the world. If you wanted to go down that route, it can be a 1 week thing. But that's not going to help us anyways. Go out there, play clean football, hit hard, make tackles. Don't do things you haven't been doing the first 4 weeks. Don't be jumping off sides all of a sudden when you haven't been.
Right. Stupid penalties late. No, don't let them get off the hook on a 3rd down conversion where you do a DPI for no good reason, or just silly shit. I don't want any silly stuff to happen and affect the outcome of the game. I really just want to see our best punches against their best punches and see where we stand. I have an idea, but it's like, I just want to see us play some good football. And we get so nitpicky so quickly, but when you look at some of these stats, the yards rushing a game, the rushing defense, the amount of sacks that we had, there's some of these young guys coming up and playing. There's a lot of good going on. There's a lot of progress going on. And we've played Michigan tough at home lots of times, even on some of our worst teams. So it's like,
that team,
it's college football.
That game came down to the end 2 years ago. That was a team that went to the college football playoff, and we were 3-9. So go back to the beginning here. If you like this kind of content, Redcasters, hit the like button here, subscribe, leave a comment below. And while you're at it too, up on the top here, we've kind of switched up our graphics and our template. Yeah. So we've got
we're also evolving.
Yeah, we're evolving. We're getting better. We've got Memorial Stadium in the background here. There's we're part of Hurrdat Sports. There's Alumni Hall on top, and then Smack and Smooch up there permanently on top. Smack and Smooch, our e-store and shirt designer. We've got the shirt here, the hats, all that good stuff. If you want to get something from the Redcast store, go up here. You can use the QR code at any time and get yourself some Redcast swag. We've got all kinds of stuff, koozies, sweatshirts. It's amazing the stuff that Shane and Laura are putting out there.
I should get it. Do they do like hoodies? I haven't really.
Yeah, I
think there's hoodie season.
It is. It was a beautiful day out there today. So I want to get into maybe some more videos here, Mac, on defense. But before I do, I want to ask a question, and then we're going to circle back to this. And I'm asking the question for all the people. We have got a great audience out there. Thank you to everyone that's following along. Yeah. I'm going to ask the question, start getting your answers in here, and we'll bring them up in a little bit. If you could name one, you got to keep it to one. Keep one key to the game, your key to the game. Put it into the comments here, and we'll get back to it after we do some of the videos. You think of yours too, Mac. We've shown 2 offensive plays so far, and we're kind of highlighting a little bit of Corcoran, I guess, in both of them.
Yeah.
One in the run game where I thought he did a really good job, and then we highlighted his struggles in the pass blocking game. Well, now on defense, we've got 2 plays that we want to highlight. And first one here is Newsome, the cornerback on top. So here, I'm going to click that on loop again here.
Just a great play by Newsome, getting low on a lineman, just sliding in there and making this tackle. And you wouldn't believe it, because is that Smoke? No, that's not Smoke. No, Smoke kind of reminded me of. Remember Jordan Stevenson?
Oh yeah,
you remember how he had that little gut, but he was really quick. That's what Smoke Harris like. But anyway, getting back to this, the aggressiveness of our defensive backs and the tackling on the whole. And I would have said this was probably the week that we tackled the worst, and it still wasn't bad.
No,
not bad at all. But watch this guy come out there. We're in trouble. We're actually in trouble if he doesn't make this play.
Yeah. So for the people listening tomorrow, they're in the shotgun. La Tech is. And it's a little quick pitch from the quarterback to the running back to the left. They pull out a lineman, and basically there's a lead lineman on Quentin Newsom, on our cornerback. And this is right in the section of the field where we sit.
Yep.
So it was happening right in front of us. And I mean, it was that moment right when he pitched it. I'm like, oh, they've got numbers. And they've got a lineman up against our corner. And the play, the angle I had from the other side, seeing Quentin just go around the offensive lineman, get low, and make a tackle in the backfield. And I highlighted this on the defensive film session that I did. There's a couple other plays. Omar Brown did something similar. There's the play that
Hartzog had one.
Hartzog did. Singleton came up on that one play from 15 yards in the backfield. To be a good run defense, it can't just be your front seven. It can't just be linebackers and D-line.
Well,
it's got to be defensive backs making these kind of hits too.
Quentin definitely saved the play, but I'll tell you what, he might have also saved this guy's life, because if you see Singleton tracking up on this play, he was getting ready to hunt, man. Watch him. He's just like, okay, because there's no accounting for him. He was just getting ready to hit the X button. So Quentin saved that guy's life just then. But just a fantastic job. Heads up, got some forward momentum, slid down like he was sliding into home, and got low enough to disrupt the block. Behind the line of scrimmage on a little swing pass. Shit that always used to happen to us when we played this. So it's nice to see our defensive backs being aggressive enough to get out there and really make a difference. They had this pretty well blocked, like those guys coming out there.
Yeah, there was the other one that we saw with Omar Brown. They had it blocked, or they at least had the numbers to block it great, and he went through two blockers and made a tackle. It reminds me a little bit of like Osborne's last game against Tennessee. Tennessee has momentum going against us early in the game, and it's a run off the left. Jamal Lewis gets around the left. They're driving. They're going to score a touchdown. They're going to get the early lead on us.
Yeah.
And it's Ralph Brown coming off of a block and just jumping into Jamal Lewis, causing the fumble. Mike Rucker lands on it. And it's the defensive back getting involved in the run defense.
Yeah.
We've seen too many defensive backs in the past that, not just in Nebraska. I mean, in general, defensive backs that like to, they like to play coverage, but they don't like to get involved, get their heads dirty. Receivers that like to make the big catch, but don't like to block.
Yeah.
What we've been highlighting here about what I love about Nebraska from a culture, I'll say it that, a culture standpoint that rules building, is that we're going to hit hard as receivers. We're going to block, and defensive backs, you're going to be getting off those blocks, and you're going to be getting your head into these plays.
And you can tell they've been doing it in practice because of how good the defensive backs look and how good the wide receivers look. I mean, this is good on good. These are the results early. Like, I can't overstate how happy I've been with the early season tackling of the whole team, all through every single level. So, and if your defensive backs are physical, especially your corners, that does send a message. It's like, oh shit, there's probably nobody out here that doesn't like to hit that.
Yeah,
because
every play we're gonna hit your receivers. We're gonna hit.
You're seeing guys.
Receivers are gonna hit your DBs.
Javen Wright's out there making plays. I mean, Michigan hasn't set the world on fire with their offense. Like, there's actually nothing really that scares me offensively about them. I think our defense will be just fine. We'll get the keys of the game later. So,
well, yeah. And I just think in general, the things that we've been doing up to this point translate well to about every point that we play, as long as we don't stop doing them, as long as our DBs don't stop being that aggressive, right?
Don't you think too, like, we think that because of just previous staffs, like, you can't count on this kind of thing lasting week after week.
What's the thing that can be consistent?
Yeah.
When we beat Northwestern in 2021, the last win of that season, and we came back and we were like, oh my gosh, we were in diamond sets. There were four backs in the backfield. We were optioning to receivers. Like, this is the offense. This is what we're going to do. And then the next week you'd see us come out and throw it, whatever. And it was just like, you couldn't ever count on anything. This is why the whole point of this show tonight being embrace the option is embrace this.
Well, yeah.
This has to be what we're going to be this year. We've got eight more games guaranteed to us. This is what I think we can build off of, and we got to keep building.
Every iteration of the offense each week, to me, I've liked the game plan better. I've liked how we use our personnel better, and I think we've looked more efficient. Every game, regardless of quarterback, I like how I know there's a lot of a lot of noise out there about Satterfield and thinking he's about hiring and everything like that. And I'm not at final judgment with him or anything.
We're
like
4
that.
games in.
I don't know, but I like how he's kind of starting to call games a little bit better. Running clock down when it's time to run clock down.
Yeah.
Getting the quarterback. We've said get him on the outside and boot. Well, he does. But here's the thing: if you do that and they cover all 3, you're gonna have to throw that ball away. And we did.
Yeah.
But at least it's like, okay, but you're using him the right way. We're not keeping him in the pocket.
How about one of our issues that we had when we were at the Minnesota game, where we weren't breaking huddles until 10, 8, 9, 10
that
seconds.
went away quickly.
That went away real fast. So there are issues that they had. And I'm not saying inherited issues. I mean, that's an issue they had in week 1, and they got it fixed by week 2 and 3. We're not having those same kind of issues. I mean, this is going to be a progress thing, and you got to keep showing progress. Now, speaking of progress, we talked about our rush defense, and we showed the defensive backs getting involved.
Let's do it.
The other part that I think has really helped our defense out in the rush game has been the D-line, but specifically Nash and the play of him right on the center, right in the middle of this.
He's playing at an all-conference level.
He is. And I showed this yesterday.
It's funny, too, if he makes it at the beginning of the season, nobody said we had any all-conference talent.
Yeah.
It's funny how a season works.
Well, we talk a lot about progress on this team, on this show. So here, I'm going to show some progress. And this is going to be 2 videos of Nash. This first one here, he was circled, and this is on the 4th and 1 that we held La Tech and we get the ball back. So 4th and 1, they don't move an inch, and
it's almost
we
like
get the ball turned over.
3 guys.
This video here he is circled. This is from a year ago. This is against Wisconsin. This is goal line. Watch Nash here, and he gets pushed back probably about 3 or 4 yards right at the goal line. Okay, same player. Same player. And I brought this up over the offseason. Same player, and yet different strength and conditioning, where now they're talking, they've gotten guys a little more limber. They can get lower. When we talked to Rob Zaska a year or so back, he talked about how low man wins on offense and defense on the lines. We're going to win in the lines. This is Nash not getting any movement. There's no movement on him against La Tech, and they don't get half a yard to get the first down.
And it's clear as day that in this video here,
he's
high.
Yeah, he's higher.
He came out high and stayed up and got pushed back. But on the video against La Tech, he goes low. It almost looks like he takes on center guard.
Yeah.
And they don't go anywhere.
Yep.
He just locks in. So,
and
he has definitely changed his game.
Huge improvement here. And I love it here is that, the way that we try to talk about things on our show, we try to focus on progress and where's development. And even if we're highlighting someone making a mistake earlier, we talked about Corcoran, making some mistakes in the pass blocking, but then we highlight him in the strength and in the run game.
Yeah.
There's things that he's doing. What I like about what we're doing here, like this play against Wisconsin, he got pushed back a year ago.
Yeah.
But it's not because he's weak. Nope. He's as strong as anybody. He's probably stronger than the Wisconsin guy that was pushing him back. But technique and strength and conditioning and being limber and getting low, all those things matter. And here is the improvement that we're seeing on this play and on many other plays in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
And
look at his helmet, just stays there.
And what I think is cool is today on Twitter, his mom retweeted that.
Oh, cool.
The video that I posted there of the defense with
Mama
him.
Bear.
And Mama Bear posted that and said she loves it. We're not picking on him saying, look at how bad he was last year. It's like, we're trying to identify tangible areas where things are getting better.
Right.
Things are improving.
No,
and that's an immediate improvement from a year ago right there.
Yeah.
On the nose. And then we're seeing it just in our run defense numbers, period.
He's done such a great job of that. And eventually they're going to start calling holding on the other teams against us because they're doing it a lot. Like he gets held a lot, but he's, lines of scrimmages win games, and he's done such a great job of that. I still think Michigan's going to have problems with him. We'll find out. And everything's kind of a we'll find out situation.
Patrick says to be a team like Michigan, you need to play with some anger. Never hurts.
No.
Anthony says Michigan better not get on the end to pray before the game or it'll be personal. Yeah. I asked you guys and continue, by the way, everyone watching along, continue to put in your one key to the game. But I asked you that beforehand, Mac. I'll get to yours. Joel says his key to the game is get 2 first downs minimum each possession. I think that's a great goal right there. And the way to get those first downs is on first down, get positive yards. So that means your best pass plays, your quickest pass plays. If you're going to sit in a pocket for 10 seconds,
throw those away.
Yeah.
And then a first down run.
Yeah. I'd be fine with never. Actually, our percentage is crazy. It's something like 85% of our first downs have been run. So even for and I'm still mad sometimes. I'm like, never throw it. But if you're gonna throw it,
predictable.
But if you're gonna throw it, you got to be quick with it.
Yeah.
The video that we showed with Corcoran, they're getting beat. That's not to pick on them. It's to show that we don't have a lot of time in the pocket. If you're gonna be a pocket team, or if that's what we think we're going to do against Michigan, we're probably going to find ourselves in a lot of tough situations.
It's a terrible idea.
And you're going to find yourself in a lot of 2nd and 15s. Yeah. And that's not the way to get into 2nd and 5,
right?
Which now when you're in 2nd and 5, now maybe you have a little more run pass options and things you can do. But also we want to establish that run game because we want to establish a play action game. That's how I think we're going to be best at getting the ball downfield is going to be through that play action anyways.
And playing like that has nothing to do with talent. It just has to do with your focus and how tuned in you are to the game. I'm like, there's no reason not to play great football. That team might have better talent than you, but that shouldn't have any effect on, if you know your assignments and if you hold on to the ball or any of that stuff. I mean, it's pretty simple to me, but we haven't seen it so long. But again, there's so much of a hangover from other staffs that you just don't know what you can trust yet. But when you go back and you illustrate, I'm like, no, that's progress. No, that's progress. No, that's progress. And they're progress in important areas.
Well, right here, we talked about rush defense. Ted Hilker says stopping Michigan's run. If they run at will on us, it's over. That's his key to the game. That's his key. And that's a great key there. We said it about Colorado a couple weeks ago, Mac. We said that we need to make them one-dimensional, which seemed almost funny after they had beaten TCU and they were one-dimensional. They put up 500 yards passing and ran for nothing. And we were like, but you still got to make them one-dimensional. You still need to do it. A team like Michigan, it's even more important to try to take one of those things away because if they can run at will on us and they also throw the ball, let's see, their passing offense, Michigan, they've been throwing for 237 yards a game.
Okay.
Our pass defense, we've been giving up 251 yards a game. So that's not been our strength pass defense wise. Now we've played some teams that to throw the ball quite a bit.
Hurt that a little. It's kind of
Minnesota. Look, third down defense for us is a legit issue right now, and we've got to find a way to get off the field. And it's been mostly in the pass game. I don't have the exact stat in front of me, but I would venture to say 3rd and longs being anything that are 3rd and let's say 8 or longer, and how many they've gotten on us. I would say 90% of those have come in the pass game.
Probably.
I don't know. I can't think of a long run.
There might have been a quarterback scramble, I think, in the Minnesota game, and I think Shadur might. I can't remember for sure, but any other keys of the game?
Yeah, Fongwei says key of the game: everyone play with their hair on fire. I'll throw that in the same category as Patrick's. To be a team like Michigan, you need to play with some anger. Hair on fire, anger. We'll take it. Husker 24 says his key is find a passing game. I don't know that that's my key, but I will say that doesn't hurt. And finding a passing game. I like the point actually, Husker 24. It's not that we have to find a deep ball or we have to find this one receiver. It's find what's going to work that day. If it's quick little rollouts, if it's slant passes, if it's some screen passes against a very aggressive defense
for the running back.
The running backfield.
That worked a couple of times with Gabe and Anthony. We did that against Northern Illinois. We didn't really do that against La Tech. So more of that would be nice. But finding any kind of pass game, a consistent pass game, whether it be more tight ends, whether Borkature hasn't got anything recently, so we can incorporate both of them. That'd be fantastic.
Do you have? I think one of my biggest fears right now is it's not the quarterback spot because between Sims and Harburg and what we're trying to run, I feel like we actually have a little bit of depth there. I think we have 2 guys that can run, and maybe even Purdy, but definitely those 2 guys. I think they can run the style of offense that I think we're going to probably have to run here these next 8 games. At running back, I really do want to see more out of Emmett Johnson. Yeah, and we didn't see anything. We didn't see anything out of Quentin Ives. So we know it can't just be Grant.
No,
and that is
no.
And I was hoping that we'd see a little more last week out of one of the other 2, just to give a little bit better feels going into this game. But I guess Grant's going to have to. He's going to have to put on his big boy pants this weekend.
He should be well rested from the first 2 games.
That's right.
And with quarterbacks taking a bunch of carries too, that's not putting a huge load on. I mean, how many carries do you have? 25? somewhere in that range.
I don't think he even had that. It was
in the 20s though, low 20s.
Yeah.
And so I mean, he should be able to handle that. He really should be able to handle that. He's not a young buck. He's been in the Power 5 for a while now. But the backups are going to have to play a little bit. Emmett Johnson. Probably the first guy off the bench again. I don't know why I heard some talk about Quentin playing, but we didn't see him. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, I know that a couple of the media guys said they've heard that Ives was doing really good things in practice, and I hope he is. Again, we're going to need more than just Grant here. Brewmaster Bill says, I think Satterfield is just going with what the players are most comfortable with now. Give it a few games. I think we'll start seeing more guys getting involved in the passing game. There's certainly some truth there. Look, Marcus Washington has been a very reliable receiver for us in the first couple of those games. And then last week misses a first down catch, right? You're going to have limited opportunities, I think, in this offense to catch passes right now, unless you're Kemp. Kemp might get 8-9 passes thrown his way. The other guys, if you're Bullock, if you're Washington, you may not have all those options. Malachi Coleman. I don't know that he's going to get a lot of balls thrown to him, but when you do get one, boy, and it hits your hands,
go get it.
Go get it.
Yeah,
bring it in, because that's going to give you a shot to get more.
And that's what it's going to take that's how you improve as a team. All your accessory players, your non-primetime guys still make plays when their number's called up. And that's not unreasonable to ask. And when we're still talking about D1 athletes here, like if you get in the game and you're a little cold and they throw the ball to you, catch it. Obviously catch it. Like you've caught thousands of balls at this point. You can catch the ball. So those kind of excuses, that kind of sloppy gameplay needs to go away. The sloppiness needs to kind of drift away. But you do have to keep in mind too, it's only Heinrich's second start. This will be his third.
This will be his third
ever.
Yeah.
So it's like we're sort of hoping he's a little more advanced in his offensive, game management and everything like that. That's probably a lot to ask, but he has been improving.
That's why I'd say keep things simple. Keep things as simple as you can. With a lot of the pre-snap stuff, I would keep it simple. I know you like to do a bunch of motion and all that stuff to really, get the defense off balance, but as we saw in the first two games, that tended to screw us up more often than not.
It did, but it didn't seem to screw him up.
We haven't done as much of that under Harburg. I think it's been a more simplified package and lineup, and we've gotten under center more.
I do think
that's been real effective.
If you were to bring Sims back now or when he gets back in, the game will be called differently than it was those first two games, and it'll probably suit him better as well. So that's good. And man, I'm certainly not rooting against Sims ever contributing and playing again. I hope he comes in and he's lights out. I don't really care who's playing quarterback. I like them both when they're winning.
Yeah, no kidding. Brewmaster Bill says if the over/under on holding calls on Michigan is 0.5, I'm hammering the under. Yeah, look, you're not wrong there, and we're gonna have to get fortuitous with some of those calls too. Yeah. And you got to create some of those calls. I mean, our D-line has done a good job of being stout against the run. If they're getting pushed back 5 yards next week, then you're not going to get a lot of holding calls at that time. So hopefully we can hold up well there. Hopefully we can. That's why this is such an important game. This is going to tell us what we've seen with our eyes the last 4 weeks. Was it fool's gold? And when I say fool's gold, was it fool's gold on a macro level, on a big level? Are we not as good against the run or running the ball as we think we are? We'll find out against Michigan. Now we get through the Michigan week, win or lose or whatever happens. What we've done the first 4 weeks will still probably work very well the last 7.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear with the opponents that we have the last 7 weeks. This is going to be a sloppy mess for everybody, everyone, us included, and every team we play. That Big Ten West is a mess of a mess. So how we played the last 4 games, we could continue having that level of success or, mistakes the last 7 weeks, and we can win or lose games. But Michigan, I think, either validates what we've done, like, wow, we are really a good run-stopping defense. Right. Wow, we're really good. We're really good with our receivers blocking. We're really good tackling with the DBs, all those things. Michigan's going to validate that, or we're going to walk away from that and go, ooh, we're still doing the right things, but boy, we're not as far as we thought.
Yeah, and if we're doing all the right things and they still kind of smoke us, we also need to understand that's not the rest of the Big Ten.
No. Then
that's like one. There's Ohio. Actually, Penn State looked pretty good.
Penn State looked good. Yeah, darn good. But then you lick your wounds away after the Michigan game. If it goes south on you, you lick your wounds and go, we're still doing the right things, keep getting better, and we've got 7 games, and we can find wins in these 7 games in the race to 6 that I've been saying all along.
4 more wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going right.
That's the mentality. Well, let's finish with a different kind of question here, and we'll be done, Mac. This is from Husker 24. He goes, do you think Tony White will still be here next year? Will he get a head coach opportunity somewhere?
I think they'll probably, his name will come up. You can't ignore that big of a turnaround on our defense from one year to the next.
Sure.
And it'd probably be hard to ward him off. And I don't know his aspirations. He probably wants to be a head coach. He talks like a head coach.
Sure.
When he's out there, he's definitely trending up in his coaching career. It'd be to hang on to him.
I think it's going to be a thing of what the opportunity is, right?
Yep.
I mean, look, he makes $1 million a year right now as a DC, and he has more than earned probably a rate,
and it's
a decent
volatile time to just jump ship. Why not let the dust settle a little bit with these conferences?
I think it's all about the job, right? I mean, look, if he gets an offer from some P5, that's one thing. If the offer is from Ball State or some school like that, and Nebraska's sitting there going, well, we're going to up your pay. I mean, Satterfield makes 1.4 as an offensive coordinator right now, at the very least. At the very minimum, there's room for what Tony White has done to financially make it worth his while stay here. But also on top of that, we always worry about guys leaving every year. What if this player leaves? What if this guy leaves? Look, I've said this so many times. Nebraska was number 2 in the country a couple years ago in dead money over a course of like 10 or 15 years, where we paid out the second most in the country, only behind Auburn at the time, to coaches, assistant coaches, athletic directors, not to no longer work here. Okay. And we've had so many people leave because of that. We would still have to pay them off. I'm just not going to focus or worry one bit about somebody leaving here because he's done such a good job that somebody else wants him. Yeah. Like, I will take that every day right now. Alabama lost coaches all the time, right? And moved up the ranks because their coaches did so good where they were at, and they won football games and they left. I can promise you this: if we finish the season 2-10, we don't win another game, Tony White's name probably isn't going to come up on a lot of lists. Yeah. So for Tony White's name to come up on lists, that tells me that something continued to go well over the course of the season. We didn't just start off well for 4 games. That defense kept improving and kept getting better against big-time opponents. Games like this weekend. My goodness, we go out and we beat Michigan because our defense holds them to 98 yards rushing. Yeah, that's going to get a lot of eyeballs on Tony White. But if that's the case, if that's what happens, if that's why Tony White goes, because we just held Michigan to 98 yards rushing and held them to 14 points and we beat them, I'll take that.
That's pretty sweet.
Right? I mean, so I'm not fearing success right now. If we're so good that guys are leaving because they did such a good job here, I'll take it. I'll take it every day. So Mettinger here, man. I ran Ryan, by the way, I saw him and I wasn't thinking. I was walking with Tyler Peterson and I were walking before a game, and I didn't recognize him right away. Mettinger, like, hey, how you doing? And I ran up, I was like, how you doing? And I didn't think, my head was going in 10 different spots. And then I walked away, I go, that was Mettinger. So Ryan, it was good seeing you there. Dick. He goes,
what a dick.
No, I wasn't trying to be a dick. He goes, are we a better team than we were 2 years ago versus Michigan? Are they a better team? That's a great question. Absolutely, they are absolutely a better team than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
That was at the very beginning of them being a playoff quality contender, and 2 years later they've found their rightful place in that top 5. So they are absolutely better. But I don't know that there's too many areas that I would take from that team 2 years ago. And think about that defense that we had 2 years ago. That was an experienced defense. The JoJo Domans, Ben Stilleys, and all that. I don't know that I take it.
No, not
too much of that over what we're doing right now.
That good throughout. We had some. JoJo Doman was an eraser.
Yeah,
he made a lot of. He made Shenander look a hell of a lot better that year than I think their defense actually was. So I do actually. It's a good point. I think we are better. They're better too, and they might be a lot better. But
and I think we could probably have disagreements with certain Redcasters and me on this. I like what we're doing offensively better. Now we're running.
For sure.
I mean, we're getting under center. We're doing I formation. I'm loving this. I've wanted this forever. But I can easily understand there's somebody else could be out there going, are you kidding me? What we were doing with Martinez or the big play or, some of the deep balls to Austin Allen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there could be arguments made against it. I just like what we're doing right now.
I do too.
But we've got to keep doing it and we have to keep getting better at it.
That'd be nice.
So you're saying there's a chance. There's
always a chance on the Redcast Dinger.
And Brewmaster Bill, there's a number in my head that I'll grab a pair of tickets for Saturday if it gets there. Yeah. So that's the thing. Hey, fans are excited, and you should be excited. The number 2 team in the country is coming.
We're 4 games in, and we're still kind of excited about the season.
We're 500. We're trending in the right direction here. And in true Husker fandom, you see it on social media sometimes. Oh, those 2 wins. Oh, it's La Tech. Oh, it's Northern Illinois. So I've seen us lose to Northern Illinois. I've seen us lose to my wife. Finally kind of destroyed her bad streak where I would take her to one of the easy games.
Yeah.
So I took her to McNeese State.
Increasingly hard to find.
I took her to McNeese State where we needed to have Amir Abdullah have that unbelievable play at the end of the game to beat a division, FCS team. I took her to Northern Illinois in 2016. Took her to Troy in 2018, and last year took her to Georgia Southern. And we were actually walking into the game, and Brewmaster Bill and his wife are right behind us. And he texted me at half. He's like, "Maybe you should stop bringing Kathy to games." I'm like, "No, it's not her fault. It's not our it's not Dave's fault when we lose away games. It's the program's fault, right?" And by the end of the game, as we're going into the rain delay, and we're up 28-7, I was like, "Okay, Kathy, that streak ended."
Yeah.
We feel pretty good here. And
did you stay for the rain delay?
Yeah, Kathy wanted to stay.
Did you really?
She wanted to stay, and I was like, I'll do it. So we went back out there, and it was kind of fun. The crowd got pretty loud. The people that were left got pretty loud when the team went back out there on the field. And one of those bizarre days that you can say you were at the stadium.
That delay cost us points and gave them points. You're not going to tell me anything different. An hour is a long time. An hour is long enough to get sore.
Yeah.
After a workout, like you don't have.
That's what I wonder with Harburg, where they talk about he didn't come back out. Like even if it's,
I mean, things got tight. Sure, they're called bruises. I'm sure he was experiencing that. So it's whatever. The final score doesn't really matter. On that shit.
I think to go back to Mettinger's question too, and I think Joel brings up a great point here. We were playing complementary football 2 years ago. We weren't. I think that's a great point there, and we've got to continue to play that. And so if we're going to have success this week, to me it's fairly clear. You've got to have success on first downs, get into favorable second and third down situations, not be in second and third longs. If you are in second and third longs, then be willing to eat the drive, meaning draws and simple plays and keep the clock going, and then get your punter out there on the field and try to flip field with good punts.
I do like that about Harburg's play style too. He doesn't seem to have that. Some guys almost seem to need to try to make the big play when everything's breaking down. He doesn't really get that flustered. He's like, I guess this one's going to go in the dirt. My key to the game, I guess bottom line, it's so cliche, but the turnover battle, we have to be up probably two to really win the game.
At the very least, I'll just say we have to be a net zero, net negative, net positive at
net
least.
Positive to win. For us to say win,
we absolutely cannot be a negative in the turnover margin.
No.
And
no chance, no shot. I say no shot. If we're even down one, there's no shot.
I was trying to think of my other one. We cannot be a net negative in the turnovers and in special teams. We have got to, when there's points to be taken, meaning a field goal from 30 yards.
I'm one missed field goal away from thinking different things.
Potentially, does Bleak Road find his way back in the field goal game in maybe the shorter ones, 40 and in?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, he wasn't bad last year kicking field goals, the short ones, and Elvano has the bigger leg. I mean, look, this is the point. You've got to make some of these decisions here, and everything to me is a temporary week-by-week thing. Is somebody kicking better in practice? You still need to have competition.
We've had a surprisingly few amount of field goal attempts to be this far in the season, though. Part of it is because we turned the ball over, and so we haven't got to that point.
Yeah, last week we would have had a short field goal, but we faked it and got the first down, which is a really cool play there. But, you can't leave points out like that. No. If we're kick a 35-yard field goal this week, you got to make it.
In conference, there's no chance.
You just got to make it.
Yeah, you got to convert when you're in the red zone.
Ted says, I agree on the option 1,000%. I've been wanting it back for 20 years. Also, I could type for hours about it, laugh out loud. And Rob says hi.
Oh, hi, Rob.
So, hey, Rob.
Dynamite drop in there, buddy.
Well, Matt, this is fun. Had a good time.
Had a great time. I had one quick PSA. Mostly, this is for the fans that go to the game, and it seems like the student section in particular. So, when people do this, it's 3 and out, right? Oh, it's bad on the camera, but 3 and out, right?
It's the
and so that's what that means, 3 and out. So that means that the other team got the ball and didn't convert one single first down. But the second they do, doing this on every third down doesn't make any sense. Right? Throw the bones, that's fine, but you do this only if this is their first attempt at trying to get a first down on that drive. Once they get one, it's like, you don't do this anymore.
And
it looks stupid.
As far as my memory goes,
and I know you hate that thing.
I don't like the whole 3 and out thing anyways, because I think that was a Cosgrove thing. So I'm just keep the fist there and do the.
I have less of a problem with the use of it. It's you kind of know what you're doing, guys. I mean, that just seems like that's like when Gabrielle Union went like this or something when she threw the bones like
threw them weird or whatever.
Weird. Don't be weird, guys. 3 and out. Regular third down conversion.
Anthony Hayek says thank you, Mac, for clarifying that.
That's what elders are supposed to do.
Redcasters, thank you so much for following along here. This has been a lot of fun. Again, I'm going to put this up one more time to, if you like this kind of content, if you like what we're doing, hit the thumbs up, man. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell people. Tell other Husker fans about the Redcast. Leave a comment below. We want to see what your comments are as well. And as you can tell from this show tonight, one of the things we're doing, certainly with the match rule, but we're trying to do it with the other shows too, is that we want to interact as much as we can with you. And we love having you being a part of it. The more that you're a part of the show, I think the better the show is.
We'd rather have you guys kind of direct what we talk about anyway. It's a lot more fun for us and a little less structured. So the more interaction we get, the better.
It makes it actually, it totally makes our job easier.
Yeah, it's just like whatever you guys want to talk about, let's talk about it. Because I kind of view this as like a forum for all of us to kind of chat about what's pissing us off or not, or things that we like, or how stupid Colorado fans are and how useless they are and how fun it was to dump on them all weekend on Twitter. God dang, that was so. I'm sorry, Mom. I said, gosh. Yeah. I need to apologize.
You got to stop saying that.
She called me out this week about it.
Oh,
I don't even. Did you remember me saying that? Man,
I don't know.
Sorry. I apologize.
And while we're at the very end here too, again, check out the QR code at the top here, the Redcast store, Smack and Smooch, Shane and Laura out there in Elwood, Nebraska. Find something out there for you. I mean, we've got great shirts and sweatshirts. Now we're getting into the fall season. It's cooling down, getting swag. We've got hats. We've got koozies. We've got all kinds of cool stuff. And I've started to see some Redcast gear being worn at the stadium. That was really cool. Saw a couple people. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I mean,
you take your wife, I guess. Yeah.
No. So
that's good.
Yeah. Please continue to do that as well there. So anyways, Joel says, haha, people did need an explanation. Rob says, ring the bell. And I've always got to end with my mom. Marty says, great show, guys. GBR.
Hi, Marty.
And there's no kissing emoji there.
Oh,
I missed that. Mom, next week, come on. I need a kissing emoji,
Let's she do a football and corn and a black heart.
A black heart?
Black shirts?
Black shirt? Must be. Yeah. So, and Anthony said, I just texted Mac, what's on my birthday list. So, smiley face there. Oh. All right. Well, Mac, had a great time, as always.
Yeah.
9:00 on Monday during the season here. Expect 9:00 Central Time live shows. We're going to do the match rule every Monday, and then tomorrow night, Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. That's when we do the full Redcast with Rob and Dave and Boomer, and I think we're even going to try to get Redcast Talon involved a little bit now. He's doing our TikTok. He'll get involved, I think, some with the Betcast. And Mac, you may even step on every once in a while with the Redcast.
If we can get 8 to 10 people on a podcast, I think that's ideal.
If there's any podcast that can do it, it's us. So
we're like the Slipknot of podcasts. We got so many members.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. And until next time, that's another Matt's Rule. I didn't know we were going to go big red. Go big red.
Herd at Sports Network production.